So right off the bat, many of you have already noticed that all is not well. The title slide, for example, is from last week. It's because this week's title is on this computer. And this computer and this computer had a falling out last night. They're no longer talking to one another, and I can't get my pictures from there. It's a shame because they were really nice pictures. Yeah, but I can't show them to you. Sorry about that. I'll fix it eventually, I'm sure. How's everybody doing? It's Tuesday. That means it's MacroTalk, and we're going to talk about macro today. But this is the promised Q&A. Did you see me spit then? That was really awful. My microphone's pointed in the wrong direction. That's a bit better. About 3 months ago, I said I was going to do a Q&A, and I was going to alternate months so that we'd do it on a Tuesday and then a Thursday the next month. And then I forgot all about it because I was so busy doing other stuff for these meetings. But yeah, I didn't do a Q&A. So a month or two has gone by. So we're going to do one tonight. Anything is fair game. And Alasdair and Amy, you can kick back and just chill, because I'll probably be looking in the chat a little bit as well, so I can say hi to people. It's going to be very informal. There are a couple of things I'm going to tell you about. I'm going to give you a little taster of what Thursday's MacroTalk 2 is about while we're here, because I have been busy, very busy, and I've been redoing some stuff in the studio, kind of in preparation almost for the bug month that's coming up. Also, I want to get the studio in shape to do some teaching in person this year, and some other things as well. So I've been working on creating the ultimate bug prep station, a one-stop place that you can settle down and do all your bug work all at the same time. Everything except take the photographs. I still have to go down to the studio for that. But I prep my bugs here. Now this is brand new. I just built this. I've been planning it for a long time, but I just built it last night and this morning, which is why I'm a bit discombobulated in getting everything ready for tonight. But what I have done, I can't get the other camera to work either. Sorry about that. What I've done is made this station, and I am going to, on Thursday, show you everything about it, and I'll explain why everything is the way it is. Don't you just hate that? Ouch. It's just been one of those tech days that are always a little bit stressful. Let me see if I can make this work while because I need it. I need it to show you the stuff we're doing in the studio. Otherwise, you won't want to come on Thursday. But on Thursday, I'm going to deep dive into every single thing you're about to see and explain it all. And then you can decide whether or not it makes any sense for you to do that. I need to find the thing that says camo. There it is. It keeps asking me to select a device, and I keep selecting the device, and it doesn't want me to have it anymore. It's who, but they wanted to know why in the heck I had so many different colors of pins. That was overkill, totally unnecessary, and I'll explain why in a little bit, and that will be a sneak preview of Thursday where I'll explain everything. So yeah, I'm excited. It's great, and it arrived just in time for the bugs that I got from the Czech Republic. which arrived just in time for me to send them away again. So I definitely need to give a public shout out and a word of gratitude to Paul Bullock. Paul's a long-time supporter and an all-round good guy who he's the guy that I accidentally mailed his bugs to his old house. I didn't know he had a new house, so I mailed them to the only address I had. And he wasn't there. And the people that were there opened it up and said, "Oh my God, it's a box of bugs, throw it away." So they threw it away. And so Paul didn't get his bugs. I, meanwhile, had ordered some more bugs because I didn't get bugs either because of my own stupidity. And then, then the bugs arrived, and I've been photographing them because Paul said I could. He said I could photograph them and then send them to him. So that's good. I've been very busy doing that. Would you like to see a couple of the photographs? I have been rather happy with them. Let me find one or two to show you. Ooh, I'm going to show you this one as well, though I'm not happy with it. It's cockroach. I don't like cockroaches at all. Do you have them where you live? And that is what we are going to do tonight, is I'm going to answer your questions. So if you have any questions about how to take pictures in the studio or how to take pictures outdoors or about your camera, then let me know. Now, if you want to know what is the right macro equipment for you, specifically for you, then you probably need to come to the Patreon per Zoom meeting on Saturday. That is a 2-hour session for the Patreon followers. They are subscribers, so they chip in to pay my salary. And in exchange, I get with them every couple of weeks and we spend a couple of hours talking photography stuff. And I want to circle the wagons because we've been talking so much about new cameras, new lenses, new techniques and everything for the whole of the winter so far. I want to just take a pause and talk about the most important subject when it comes to lenses is what is the right lens for you? What are you planning to do in macro, especially if you're brand new, but even if you've been around for a long time, are you using the right stuff for what you're trying to get? And we'll go over that. I'll talk about all the different end results you might want to try to get and the best equipment to use to get them. Whether that's an inexpensive enlarger lens or a super expensive Oregon magnification system, whatever it is, I'll explain who it's for and why. And that'll be a fun conversation. We'll talk about loads of other stuff as well. We always do. And people will come on to give updates on their rigs and so on and so forth. It's a very active group. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it, and yeah, you should come. If you're not a member of Patreon, of course, you can't come. But I wish you would. So you need to become a member of Patreon. This is bribery, isn't it? Okay, well, we'll move on. Let me see. Who's here today? I'm sure you're not used to me looking at the list to see who's actually in the room, because that distracts me and I'll start talking. Shall I answer the pin question first? Have I got everything? Oh, I know. There was one other thing I wanted to mention. Do you watch Ant Lab on YouTube? Ant Lab is a guy named Adrian, I think is his name, who has a slow motion camera. And he takes pictures of insects doing insect things like flying, taking off. and just short videos, and they're fantastic. They're beautifully done. He's very funny and a very nice guy. And I'd like to get him on the program to talk to him about high-speed photography, about high-speed macro photography, about his setup, about why he does what he does, what they do at Ant Lab, and a bunch of other questions. Don't you think that would be interesting? I know you do. So what I want you to do is this. If you feel so inclined, this is just a suggestion, go over to Ant Lab on YouTube. Just type in Ant Lab, it'll take you to him. Watch his latest video. Tell him how good it was in the comments, and then mention that he really ought to try to get on with me, because then we could have a talk. But you could also say something like, no chance of it happening though, because he's famous and you won't get on with him. And then I'll get in touch with him in about a week's time, and he'll think it's just his lucky day. Now, you can't tell him this, so this is secret between just us. It's not a good secret, is it, when there's this many of us? Anyway, yeah, that's what we'll do. I'm going to try to get in touch with him. Rick was talking to him, Rick Littlefield, just recently, and that gave me the thought that, yeah, we needed to get the man on. He's really very, very clever. So that's what we're going to do. Anyway, that was one other thing. I said that already. Video. I have been trying to shoot some really nice video to go with the video cine, the macro cine review I'm doing with the Leica lens that I've been using for the last month. And I'm really excited about it. It's a good review of a good lens, so you can take that for what it's worth. It's not going to be a negative review. I haven't found anything I don't like about it. It is an absolutely lovely lens. I've even been using it on my rail as a macro lens. That's how good it is. But anyway, the footage, I finally got some good footage of really small stuff of my terrarium dwelling mesofauna. I'm blanking on the word I'm looking for. You know how that's terrible when you go searching for a word and then you can't remember it. It's a springtail. So I made a video this weekend by mistake. I should just have kept the stuff and used it in the review. But instead I made a video called Bruce Springtail. If you haven't seen it, I thought it was funny. I laughed a lot making it. Yeah, that used up all my good video though. It's the only good video I've got of springtails, really up close, but check it out. It's fun. All right, so questions. Bring them on. Should I, yeah, I guess I'll look at both places. I'll look at Telegram in case, yep, questions are coming in. One from Robert already. Amy's wishing she had a cine lens. Well, Amy, you can have a cine lens. All you have to do is provide Leica with some funds, and they'll send you one. And it's a beauty too. It really is. No sound. No sound? Are you sure? Can you hear me now? Is there sound on the channel? No sound, no sound. I don't know what is going on. Everything is green on this side. I'm getting sound as far as I can see here. Okay, sound is okay now. I have no idea what that was, guys. I am so sorry. Gosh, I don't know what it was I was going on about, or how long it was down. Did you see the pictures? You probably saw the pictures. Some weevils and a wasp. And you missed all my funny stories about it. Okay, well, anyhow, yes, I'll figure this out afterwards. Thank you to everybody who's given me suggestions and tips on building terrariums, terraria, and how to photograph in them, especially to Graham, who's come up with some really good ideas. He's going to be sharing those ideas on Saturday. at the Zoom meeting. I know that this is now the third time, but if you haven't heard a word I've said, it'll seem like the first time, but I'm going to say one last thing, and that is the tangent and chamfer hour it's just too big of a mouthful and too hard for me to type. So we're changing the name of the 3D modeling workshop live video thing that we do on every month, once a month on Saturday, second per Zoom Saturday of the month. Don't even try to follow that, what I just said. It's this coming Saturday at 12:30 in the afternoon. Everybody's invited. If you know anything at all about 3D modeling and want to learn more, this is for you. Doesn't matter what platform you use. Larry has developed a program for us that is going to do a fair amount in last week's project or last month's project, which was making a camera lens hood. And I think a lot of people have done that. I submitted mine yesterday, and it's terrible. Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll talk about that for the first bit. And then we'll get into some tips that Larry wants to give us that are pertinent to either the previous modeling thing we talked about or the next one. And then in the last part, we'll talk about the project for next time and give you the lay of the land, and then you take it from there. Now, a couple of important announcements though. If you come to the Tangent, as it's now called, on Saturday at 12:30 here on YouTube, it's a Zoom. It's on Zoom. The invitation has been sent out. It's in, I think it's in Discord. You come over there. Be aware that if you talk or show your picture, you will be on YouTube because I'm going to record it for YouTube. Don't come if you don't want to be seen. You can wait and watch the recording later in the day. But if you come and you say anything, we'll see you, and you'll be famous from being on YouTube. That's what happens to people. And the other thing is, if you have made a lens hood and you want us to look at it and talk about it and ridicule it and give you advice on it and tell you what you could have done and should have done, you need to send the original CAD file. That's the, what's it called, the F3D or something. I can't remember what it's called in Fusion 360. It's something 3 something. That's helpful, isn't it? Whatever. It's the original CAD file, not the STL file. Send that to tangent@larrystrunk.com. Did I get it right, Larry? I think so. I would type it up on the board, but I'm afraid I'll mess something else up if I do that. So that's what you need to do. You need to send your lens hood to Larry, and Larry will get it on the program and we'll talk about it. That's how you're going to learn from doing this. Okay, all right, so that was that. Question. Robert Storost asks, exactly what do you order from the bug website that is the best value? I'm having trouble navigating it. Well, you know, it is hard. If I hadn't done the bug study, I would have had no idea how to get around on that site. The site we're talking about is Insect Trade EU for European Union. It's in the Czech Republic, and the people that run it are very nice, and they have a large selection of insects collected from all over the world. Now, they sell insects to collectors, but also to scientists and to all kinds of different entities that need insect specimens. So they have a broader range, both of species, but also of quality than a lot of other places. But you're not going to pay the kind of prices you pay when you go to the Butterfly Company or Big Bugs. They're terribly expensive. Now, it is not the cheapest thing to buy bugs. The reason we got together into a group to buy some bugs last month or a couple of months ago was because you can take advantage of some economies of scale. The box of insects I bought for 12 of us cost $20 to ship it from the Czech Republic. The box of 23 bugs that I purchased for myself cost $20 to ship from the same place. So you lose that economy of scale, and it does then become a little bit more like buying bugs over here. But the way to do it, in my opinion, Robert, is to go into the shop knowing what you want. If you're interested in weevils and wasps, go to the beetle section and go to Coleoptera and to Curculonidae and just scroll through what they've got. They list everything they ever stock, and that means there are a lot of things that aren't there. They're grayed out. It used to irritate me, but it's okay. It really is, because they get so much stuff in. Look at the pictures and pay attention to the code they use, because I ordered a bunch of insects this time and was surprised, like the last time, by the size of some of them, or the lack of size of some of them. And if I had looked more carefully at the picture, I would have been able to figure out from the notation what the size of the bug was. Let me grab them. Hold on. There is a deal that they have. It's called the scientific lot. A scientific lot is where they put together a grouping of like insects from a particular community, say Argentinian bees. I wanted a scientific lot of Argentinian bees, and what I got was an envelope with 5 bee specimens in it, all from the Andes, and all, I might add, teeny tiny. This bag of 4 or 5 bees cost about $10. Buying individual bees of this species would have cost about $20. Some of the deals are really incredible. Nice, big, gorgeous weevils, like the one I photographed, which is the same species as this, was only, I think, $2 or $3. By contrast, little rare weevils, things like that was about $8. So you need to go in there with an idea of what you want. You know I love tiger beetles. So I ordered some tiger beetles. And of course, because this has been doomed, this whole project of buying insects has been doomed this year, I received 2-3 tiger beetles, took one out the packet this morning to photograph it, and its head fell off. That is so frustrating when that happens, and it happens quite often. These are very dehydrated bugs, and if, like me, you like the smaller bugs, the delicate ones, they will have bits fall off if you're not super careful. But Robert, I don't know if that helped you any. Maybe you could get with me, and I'll walk you through the website and show you what I do. Some of these Delta wasps are just fantastic, aren't they? Lovely, lovely, lovely. The best deal, though, is to find scientific lots that interest you. I'm into Hymenoptera and interesting bees and wasps from South America. Bunch of them. So, these are all going to Paul as soon as I get a few more photographed. So it's worth it just for something like that. That will keep you entertained for months, photographing that. Look at the well, you can't see it. Did you see the picture earlier when I tried to show it to you? That was when my microphone wasn't working. I don't know why that is. I mean, it's a brand new microphone. I was using it to record that video the other day, and it worked for that. So anyway, neither here nor there. Questions. A question from Emily. Have you used a StackShot automated rail with a battery in the field? I'm considering this purchase for stacking slime molds in the field. I absolutely have, yes. The Cognosys battery system for using in the field is pretty effective because it does use high density LiPo batteries that will carry a good charge. But it's a very hefty rig to carry around when you've got everything you need, plus the rail, a good heavy tripod to set it on, or ground pod, whatever you're using, plus the batteries, plus the lighting you're going to need. It becomes a very heavy bag of tricks. And I'm not a big fan of automated stacking in the field. I've thoroughly enjoyed a manual stacking using the NovaFlex manual rail. That was a lot of fun, the M. I don't have it to show you anymore. I sent it back to Germany, but the rail is nice. It gives you very accurate steps. But if you're okay with lugging all that stuff into the woods, then yes, you can do it, and it works exactly the same way it does in your house. The only thing I would say is if you're going any distance at all into nature, I would figure out a way to take extra batteries with you. The battery pack that they sell consists of, I think, 4 18650 lithium polymer batteries just connected together in series. I'm pretty sure, or it's two sets of 2 in parallel that are connected in series. I think that's what it is, 7.2 volts. It's a good idea to have extra power when you're out there, because if your rail quits on you, then you're stuck, because you can't manually advance an automatic rail like that. It will give you good pictures, but remember, at slime molds, you're probably not going to be shooting much over 5x in the field. But yeah, 5x, you really need a rail. So yeah, try it and see. The equipment they sell is good. It's a bit old-fashioned, but it's solid, and it works. I don't think you'll be disappointed as long as you're up for the hefty lugging. Phil has a question. When you buy bugs, do you leave them in the package they were shipped in until you're ready to photograph them, or get them in alcohol right away? Great question. When I received the bugs, they are dehydrated. They've been dead in many cases over a year. The date is on the back. Your bugs will have the species, the genus and species, where it was caught, the date it was caught, who caught it, and yeah, it's all written on there. It's probably all made up, but no way to know. And I leave them in those packages. They're packaged on what it looks like folded up Kleenex, wrapped in saran wrap, and then stapled. They are as stable and secure as they're going to be, and definitely they don't need to be hydrated until you're ready to shoot them. Which reminds me, I was going to show this and I left it in the other room. It's worth getting though, because I want to show you a quick way to relax small bugs one at a time that doesn't involve a 2-day wait. If I had an assistant, he could go get that thing out of there. I'm not going to leave. I'll just tell you what it is. I had a bug this morning. It was actually a tiger beetle whose head I glued back on, and it needed to be relaxed. But tiger beetles are small. They have delicate limbs, and I wanted to relax it quickly, get it in position, and then dry it again. What I did was this. I have this little container. It's made by a company called Sistema, S-I-S-T-E-M-A. Sistema makes all of these boxes with the, well, there you go, you can see it on the edge. They're the best boxes in the universe. I have about 1,000 of them, and I put everything in them. They've got a clicky top that keeps them waterproof and everything. I keep bugs in them. I keep camera equipment, everything in those boxes. They come from little bitty ones up to ginormous ones. I've got a round one, like a cylinder. And what I do is I take an espresso cup. Once my insect is pinned, I pin prior to relaxation for this technique. I pin it through the chest with a tiny bit of super glue on the pin just to hold it. And I put blue tack on it and stick it in the cylinder. And then I take an espresso cup of boiling water and I put it in the cylinder and pop the lid on it. It basically steams the little bugger, and yeah, he goes limp right there in front of your eyes almost. It's really effective, and it doesn't hurt the color. You know, the water is not boiling when you put it in, it's just hot, it's steaming. And that steam will seep in and it'll limber up most of the dried muscle. The trick then is to get it onto a card and get it pinned out the way you want it quickly before it starts to dry and harden. And then once it's dry and hard again, leave it like that forever. And it works. I took a whole bunch of pictures at the weekend of doing just that, the whole sequence of events. And I'm going to write an article about it, but I was going to show you the pictures tonight. I can't because they're on that computer, the other computer, and I can't get in. So there's that. But the trick to me is don't wet them, don't relax them, don't alcohol them until I'm ready, the first time to photograph them, because it seems to start the clock running when you dip them in alcohol the first time. From that point on, they seem to have about a year's life left. I've got some bugs still wrapped in cellophane from a couple of years ago that are just tiny little weevils, but they're in great shape. If you're going to keep them in a box like this, wrapped up, remember that some of these bugs probably have mold on them already, but you can't see it. The mold will grow if they're left in confinement. So it's a good idea to take a little drop of phenol. What I do is I use a little bag of that dehydratant silica gel and put a couple of drops of phenol on the bag and then drop the bag in with the bugs. And that keeps the thing dehydrated, and the phenol kills the fungus. And yeah, the bugs look great for ages. That's what I do. Let me see. If you put them in alcohol, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But if I can, let me show you how I store VIP bugs. When I have a bug that I really, really like, that I know I'm going to want to photograph again and again, I don't put them back in alcohol. Once I've gone to the trouble of posing them, I put them in microscope objective cases like this with blue tack. And I just keep them like that, stacked up. And if they're bigger, and I want to let them spread out a bit, I'll put them in a urine specimen cup that has not been used, like that. Because it's a lot of work to pose either of these bugs. Took a lot of work to get them just exactly right and get each appendage exactly where I wanted it. Once I'm finished, I do not want to drop it back in alcohol and have it change shape. So that's what I do. Keep them like that, and they'll last forever like that. It's when you put them in alcohol, it lasts about a year. So it's only when I switched to the other camera that the phone, yeah, when I went to the phone, it went silent. Trying to think what I showed. I probably should show it again. Let me see if I can make that work. Just a quick experiment here. We're looking at my other computer with the phone now. I see what the problem is. The microphone, for some reason, is not working. Okay, so that should now be working. That's using the phone on the microphone on the phone. Can you hear me now, Amy? With this, I will very, very quickly show you what I showed you again, because I was explaining that on Thursday at the MacroTalk 2. I am going to explain all about this setup and why, yeah, got sound now, and why this is the ultimate bug preparation station. And yeah, I'll get into everything. I'll explain why all this stuff is here and what I use it for, and so on and so on and so on. And this was what I was saying as I was putting the phone up. Somebody was making fun of me for the number of pins that I have of different types. And I was trying to explain that every one of them has a distinctly separate purpose. And I was going to give you a preview of that. Seeing as there isn't another question right now, would you like for me to do that? I'm going to assume that somebody said, yeah, that would be okay. So let me do that. I think that I can pull this out. I didn't glue it in. I'll pull this out and bring it over to the other area. That's the way I like to keep them, so that I know exactly where they are, and they're color coded, because I just roll that way. I'm bad about that. So yeah, there are about, I don't know, 10 or so distinctly different shaped pins that I use, and I use them specifically to position insects and other creatures the way I want them while they dry. That's 99% of the time. That's all I'm doing, is I relax them, I'm drying them, and I'm putting them in the position I want them to stay in once they're bone dry. Okay, so let me grab a block. I always use these closed foam blocks. These are the denser kind of foam that come in expensive electronics. Usually you can get somebody who buys something fancy that they let you have the box. I don't remember where I get it from. It lasts a long time, and I use the same piece over and over and over again. What I will do is I will often cut little pieces off the corners for a specific reason. Let me show you what I mean. I moved all my sharp objects over there as well, so I need to grab a blade. So here's the deal. If you have something and it'll all come to you in the packet completely flattened. So your bug will look like, let me find a typical example. Well, this is a good example. So it'll arrive like this. And that is not the way these weevils do anything. They never lie down with their arms stretched out like that. But if you photograph it like that, it will look a bit strange. It really will, because that's not a thing they do. So what I want to do is get it in a position that's believable. Oftentimes, for something I'm not familiar with, I will have to go to a resource, a reference, an encyclopedia or a book, and figure out, get a picture preferably of one of these things flying or walking, so that I can copy its leg position. You can usually figure it out because the legs all have a particular axis that they come down on. The front legs usually go forward and then out to the side, and the back legs go backward and then out to the side, and that'll tell you roughly where they're supposed to be. But that all has to be done while they're moist, while they're limbered up a little bit. But when I take them onto my prep station, after they're relaxed and it's time to position them, then I want something to support their body. I do it two different ways. One is if I pinned it before relaxing it, which I sometimes do, then I need some way to hold the pin so that the pin will sit the bug at exactly the right height, a natural height, for me to then do his legs. The way I do that is I just cut a hole in the foam and force the pin in blunt end first, and that'll often do it. A much nicer way is if it's off the pin, is I'll take my blade and I will cut a little piece, depending on the size of the subject. I'll cut a little rectangular nubbin like this. This is exactly how I do it, just with a sharp razor blade. I'll cut a piece like that, and I will set it on the foam, like so, and that's where I will put the abdomen of the bug. If you rest its abdomen and thorax right on that little nubbin, then you can work all day long on its positioning its legs, and it will be at rest on that. And when you're finished and you lift it off and you take the pins out, the legs will be in the same position. Now you can turn him over and pin him. Okay, so that's the way I do it. Now these pins, they're all different lengths, they're all different styles. These are not the pins that I put in an insect and then photograph. These are all either for manipulating the insect, but actually those ones are over there. These are the holding pins, and they're all in different shapes. Let me show you what I mean. I won't show you all of them, I'll just show you some examples. I use these curved pins. You probably need a white background to see that. Curved pins like this are purely to add a little bit of relief in the appendage that I'm holding back. If the pin is straight, oftentimes the appendage will roll off it and go back into its rigor mortis position. If you add a little bit of relaxing to it, it will hold the leg better. You've seen me use these before. These little Zorro pins are just bent at an L shape, and you'll notice that it's a little bit further down after the bend. The reason is you'll put that on over the appendage and stick it into the black foam, and the little twist on it will grab the appendage and hold it. So what I'm trying to do is, imagine that an insect has ankles. They're not really ankles, but look at this picture for just a second. You see, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I realize what happened. Yeah, I don't have the microphone working. I'm sorry. What I was doing was showing you the way the appendage is put together on a weevil, just as an example. The purpose is to put the bend in the pin, the flat part, against the ankle on both sides at the same time, and then using the angle of the pin, push the pin into the foam a little bit at a time. I mean, you do it, you wait, you go do something else, you come back, you push the pin in a little bit more until the appendages, which are up here, are gradually pulled down remember that it's already been relaxed, and the feet are placed flat on the mat. Now, that's all I was saying when I was pointing and gesticulating at this guy's ankles. When you do that, and you have 6 pins, oftentimes the limbs will rotate out of position into an unnatural position, like they've got a dislocated hip. In which case, sometimes I need to do other stuff. That's what the other pins are for. And they're all different shapes. This is my rescue pin that I use the angle and the ball to put next to the appendage and move the angle so that it brings stray appendages back in line. It just holds it, gives me another point to hold it with. A relatively new invention. This is just a shorter, tighter limb holding pin with a much deeper bend on it. This is good for spiders and delicate stuff, really delicate stuff. I use a very small pin for that. This is a new one. I came up with this by necessity just a few weeks ago, and I've used it a whole bunch since. It is fantastic for antenna work, and it's hard to make. You have to tie a knot in a pin, basically, or make a loop is all it is, really, with pliers. You've got to be careful because the pins are very springy and they will come out and jab you if you're not careful. But this, and I make them with a much longer part that sticks in the plastic than this, is great for putting the antennas through the hole in the pin and positioning them height-wise so that they can, you can get them exactly where you want them. With a wasp, you want them swept back a little bit. These pins will do that. There's a couple of others talking about antennas. This is an antenna or mouthpart lifter. It looks a little bit like the one that I just showed you that holds the limb down, but this actually holds the limb up. You can see the angle is a bit different. I'll put if I want to make my bug walk towards the camera, which is something I like to do, I'll often have one appendage, a front one, in the act of walking, and also the rear one lifted up as if it's just kicked off. And to get those two in position, I'll put in these lifting pins, and I'll put them in all the way in, and then gradually lift them up over time to get the appendage right where I want it. Then once you get all of them right where you want it and you can visualize the shot and it's exactly the positioning you want, just set it aside and let it dry. And then after you pin it, that's going to be the way it is for the rest of forever. You can rehydrate it and reposition it. I just don't recommend it. It very much shortens the life. A beautiful insect that's well pinned and well positioned will last a long, long time. And you can take it out and shoot it over and over again. I don't know how many times I've shot this little giraffe beetle. I mean, it must be 50 times. And it's a very rational way to do it when you're spending that kind of money on insects. That's $4.50 a giraffe pair, male and female. So, by the way, last week, it was probably during MacroTalk 2. Yeah, I was showing the terraria, and I was trying to get the cameras to work. I tried very hard, and I just couldn't get the things to work. And then right when we got finished, I figured it out, what was wrong, and we watched just about 3 or 4 of us stuck behind and explored the terrarium with the macro cine lens. I left it in the recording, so if you want to go back and check it out, you can. But there was some decent footage in there too. That was a lot of fun. If you've never done that, you should do it. It's like having your own personal forest in your living room. You can just pull it out and see what's going on under there. That was great fun. Thanks to everybody that stuck around. Appreciate that. So let me see. You know, people have said to me over the last couple of months that I need to do a better job of recognizing the people that do stuff for me. I think I do a good job of it. I really do, because I mean, it's what keeps me in business. But I finally got the list of my Patreon supporters and all the people who do things to help the channel. All got their name on the landing page of my website. I will show this, but of course there won't be any sound, so I'll just show it for a second, and then you'll know. Let me see if I can find it. I had it open so I could show you, but you can go to my website and see it if there it is. So these are all the people that I thank and really owe everything to. So let me show you, and I'll talk about them when I come back on. No, actually, I'll switch to the phone. I can't do that because it's not listed. So here it is anyway. The list. That's a wonderful list of wonderful people, and I am so grateful to every one of them. If you want to see that list and see your name on that list, go to my website. I'll be adding it to videos, and every chance I get, I'll be talking about it. So, if you have joined Patreon to support me, if you have sent a check or otherwise contributed, or if you have volunteered or done something else to help us move in the right direction, then your name is on that list. If it is not on that list, it is an oversight, and you must let me know and I will fix it. And if you haven't yet done anything but want to do something, that's great too. Your name will show up on the list, and it will probably take less than 2 years. That would be my target. So, question from Zeno. Got to open it so I can see the rest of the question. Have you ever done a histological type mount and cross-section specimens to photograph internal details? I have, but it has been years ago, and it's too expensive and too tricky to do it right. I mean, it really, you need a microtome, and you need all the fixing chemicals and a lab basically to do it in. So it's not something that terribly interests me, to be honest. That I'm interested in the function. I'm interested in what bugs do and how they're made, and I love to document that. But at the end of the day, the one thing that is most important to me with my insect photography is how beautiful that picture is. That's really the bottom line. And it's hard enough to get people to look at a picture of a wasp and go, wow, that's pretty. That's hard. Getting people to look at a wasp that's cut in half and go, nice picture, is not going to happen. So it's not a huge part of what I do. And it's not for any reason other than I'm sure if I did it, I would get sucked into it like I do with everything else I do. But yeah, is that something you do? Is that part of your? A lot of people who do this for work will, of course, do this for their hobby as well, photographing various mouth parts and organs and what have you in great detail. I haven't done that in a long time. Interesting question, though. Let me see. No sound when I switch the view to the beetle. Yes, I'm figuring it out. It's all to do with one box of tricks over here that apparently is not working properly, and I don't know what to do to make it work. It's all plugged in, and the lights are blinking and everything. So I don't know what I did wrong. I could hit it. That sometimes works, actually. It's definitely getting my voice on the microphone because it's blinking when I talk, which is a sure sign that it's working. But yeah, from there it's going nowhere. So let me see. I won't switch the screen again. I really should have stopped building this thing earlier in the day so I could be ready for tonight. But you know, when you've got all day, it seems like you've got all day and there's not a big hurry. And then all of a sudden it's a big hurry. Yeah, not good, not good. Let me see. Any other questions coming in? Let me see. No other questions. Now you know everything about pins. Every pin has a purpose, even these little bitty ones. Have you ever seen Minuten pins? It's not a very good. Here's one. They make these in two different kinds. They make them with a head on the pin, like this. And the real ones don't have a head. They just have a spike on both ends, and they're that long, which is not long, about 1 centimeter. And yeah, I use them for some things, but I much prefer a long pin. Oh, I didn't show you my dissecting pins. And I sometimes make individual one-off pins during a particular relaxing and posing session, because nothing I have is going to do the job, and then I'll hang on to it so I can remember how to do it for the next time. When I'm doing my dissection, I use a set of hooks, basically, that have different angles, and yeah, kind of hard to see. Ouch. Yeah. A big L-shaped hook like that? No, I don't know what to hold it in front of. A big L-shaped hook like that is good for pulling legs apart, or probably the most interesting of my tools, and the only one I've ever seen, because I invented it. It's not in this bag. Yes, it is. This is a Weevil antenna retrieval tool. There. It's not quite exactly the right shape. It's supposed to be bent sideways. I may have sat on this or something. But the idea is, many of the weevils, especially the clown weevils around here, the ones I really like, the black shiny ones, have antennae that remain very deeply entrenched in a big cut in the side of the face. And it's only when they're out foraging that the antennae swing out and lift up. And to get the antennae out of those grooves, you have to use the blunt end of this hook. You stick it in right behind the eye, ease it down in there, turn it a quarter turn, and as you pull, the whole antenna will just come straight out and fall into natural position. I've never found anything else that will do it. I've destroyed a lot of antennae coming up with this, but it works. If you want to know how to make one, I will show you. Have you ever wondered, there must be a better way to hold a reflector or a flag when you're doing macro in the studio? There is. This is another fairly recent invention. Actually, I reinvented this. This is my flag holder. It's also my reflector holder. What I do is I take pieces of foam core, just like you see there, and then I take a piece of wire, just basic soft cancel, A1 cancel, about 25 gauge or 26. No, 25 or 24. And I just pull the wire straight and then stick one end right through the foam core, edge, out the end, and then back in again and pull it through. And it's sharp enough on the ends to go right through the foam core, but it's blunt enough on the sides to where you can actually then twist it all together and give it a handle. And these, because they're bendy, will fit on anything. So you can put them, on your lights, on your stand, on wherever you want to bounce light. These are really handy. And if you've got a particularly difficult situation or a big piece of foam core, you can use 2 wires or as many wires as you want. Or you can just put the wire across the corner. It's just a cool, nifty trick, and it's great with flags too. And any other light modifiers that are light and small work with this technique. A lot of fun, and that's what I've been using. You've seen this before. This is a limb spreader or an appendage spreader. You put this on insects that have died in rigor mortis with their appendages scrunched up. If you just slide this along their abdomen, going from bottom to head, the appendages will be pulled out one at a time and draped over the pin here. And you just leave it on here. Leave it there for about half an hour, and the legs will re-stiffen in that position. It's very good for freshly killed insects that you are having trouble getting their appendages spread out normally. I make these out of paper clips. Yep. Seriously. Paper clips. That's all there is to it. So Thursday, I'm going to be getting into a lot more of this esoteric detail. If you are, there's going to be stuff not just for insects. I mean, if what you do is flower photography or really whatever macro photography you do, you'll want to see this station, because I would say that almost everybody ultimately is going to need to get a microscope to do good prep work, and we'll be talking about that and the way my station is set up and where all the tools are and what have you. So come along, it'll be fun, and I promise I will start setting up tonight so that by Thursday I will have cameras where they need to be and they will work. I don't know what's going on with the microphones, but they will work by Thursday. So it will be more professional. I thought I was doing really good. That's the problem. I jinxed myself. I said to somebody just today, my live streams are a lot better than they used to be. Well, yeah, that was it. That was the jinx right there. That's why the microphones don't work. They heard me say that. So let me see. I'm going to jump over to chat while we got a minute. Oh, Harold, how are you, sir? Good to see you here. Let me see. Graham Kerry's 50x setup, allowing you to remove the 50x part and substitute the 35x part. Yes, what it is, Graham has done the following. He has split up his, I don't have the Oregon here in the room with me or I would show it, but what he's done is he has a camera section, a tube section in the middle, and the objective section at the end, and they are mounted on individual quick release systems on the rail. Now his concern was you have to disassemble the whole thing to go from 50 to 35. Not the way he does it. All he has to do now is unclamp the 2 quick release clamps on the rail and lift out the middle section and leave it attached to its ring clamps and its rail. And he has built a case, a metal case with foam in it, to which each of these sections goes with the base attached. So when he switches to the 20, he pulls it out. It's already got the clamps where they need to be. It's already in the right position. He just takes it in, puts it on the objective, and then moves the camera up to it and attaches the camera, all without taking anything off the clamps. The result is he can look at a subject at 50x or 35x and then switch to 50 while not having to reacquire the subject. And that was Rick's problem with the Oregon, was that he didn't see how he could use it because that's very much what he does. He goes from magnification to magnification looking at the same structure. So he doesn't want it to move at all between lenses, and that's what Graham figured out. Harold, if you come on Saturday to the Pazoom, I know that Graham's going to be there because he asked if he could show this, the thing that he's got going on this weekend, to give us an update, and he will gladly, I am sure, answer your questions about it and probably show it. So if you want to come to the Pazoom, it's 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, and or Graham also comes on Thursday. I bet if you showed up on Thursday, he would be more than happy to chat with you offline. And if that doesn't answer your question, get in touch with me directly, and I will tell you what I know and show you the pictures I've got. Okay? We're out of time, and yeah, one last word of apology for the sound issue. I'll get that figured out. It's just a plug or something that's not properly plugged in. I don't know why. I probably plugged it into the wrong computer, but don't worry about it. That won't happen on Thursday. So I will see you guys then, and if not then, I'll see you at Pazoom. If not at Pazoom, I'll see you at the Tangent. And yeah, if I don't see you in any of those places, what are you doing here? Yeah, come to one of them. Come to one of them. See you later in the week. Thanks for coming. Amy, Alasdair, thank you very much indeed for your help. I really do appreciate you both for all the work you do. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Thursday. Until then, take care, stay safe, and be well. Good night.